Well, good morning, John Finney from CarpQuest here, and welcome to Season 4. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, we're up here at Adams County Fairgrounds, so let's get the lines out, get some bait in there, and see what we can get. CarpQuest. Well, good morning, it's Monday, the 29th of February 2016. We're up here today, Adams County Fairgrounds, up in Brighton, Colorado. And it has been maybe 3 months since we fished here last year, maybe in November. We had a really good end of the season at Adams County, certainly salvaged the year for us. So today I thought I'd drive up here today, albeit it took me 2.5 hours through the Denver traffic. I'll get my rods out, get my lines in, and see if we can get an Adams County beast on the map. It's gonna be a sunny, cloudy day, maybe 60 degrees, but it's gonna be windy later this afternoon, and I mean it's gonna be really windy. So I thought, I'm gonna meet up with Ron, maybe about lunchtime. He's gonna come down here as well and get his lines in. So, Adams County, I've never fished it before in the winter. It's still 19 days to spring, so this should be an interesting session. I got here today about 6:30, had a little bit of a walk around, couldn't see any signs of life, so I thought I'd come back to the point, where we normally fish, and set up here. Today I'm going to be fishing, start off with some sweet corn, always a good winter bait, with some panko rods pack. I've got one rod cast out to the right, maybe 25 yards off the bank in about 12 feet of water, and the other one cast out to the left, covering my bases here, again maybe 25-30 yards off the bank in about 11-12 feet of water. So it's time to sit back, carry on drinking some much needed coffee, and see what the day holds. CarpQuest. It's about 20 past 9 here at the Fairgrounds now. We've been fishing those two spots for a couple of hours. No signs of any carpy action, not even a single beep. So I got my castable sonar out. It's a T-pod by Sonophone. Had a bit of a cast around and did actually mark some fish off to me right, but much closer into the bank than what I thought. So I've moved my sticks, got myself cast back out, maybe 15 yards from the bank, 12 feet of water, sweet corn panko rods pack again. So far it's been a bit of a slow start to the season. I've had about 3-4 sessions already. It's actually, I think, my 5th session. First one I did down on the South Platte River. Nice spot. I did actually see a couple of fish, but unfortunately, the carp didn't cooperate. But it was good to be fishing a river again. Then I went down and did some fishing at Quail Lake, back in Colorado Springs. It was packed, jam-packed with people. The ice had just come off. It was a complete madhouse down there. So then we went back to Runyon Lake in Pueblo. You know, went down there about a week ago. You know, fished it on a nice hot day, you know, which was remarkable for Colorado in February, but blanked out, what can I say. Went back there again a couple of days ago with my friend James, and actually, you know, did catch a carp. Only about 4 or 5 pound, but hey, it was the first fish of the year, so I was a happy man. That was the only fish of the day, so again, packed up after about 5 or 6 hours. It was getting pretty windy and headed home. So, you know, Ron should be turning up in about an hour or so. Looking forward to seeing him again. Haven't seen him since last year. Always good to see a friend on the bankside. So I'm going to sit back, you know, maybe brew some more coffee up. It is pretty chilly here. You know, the sun went behind some clouds and I can feel the wind picking up a bit. Hopefully, our fortunes will change. CarpQuest. Well, there we go. It's 2:40 here at Adams County. You know, me and Ron are just sat there in the wind, thinking that maybe all is lost, and then suddenly he gets a screaming run, and he's carp on.
It's strong.
Yep, looks like a good one. Now let's put this camera down. Help Ron get this fish in. Yes, carp on. Well, there we go, carp fans. Ron's first carp of the year. He starts the season in style with this great Adams County fatty, 21 inches, £17.12.
Woo!
Woo! Well done, Ron.
Thank you.
We're going to try and get this one back. Carry on fishing before we get blown away. CarpQuest. Well, 3:27 here at Adams County. You know, Ron cast his right line back out, his bait back out on the same spot. 10 minutes later, he's got another one on.
February. Woo!
February carping.
Weekday.
As you can tell, he's actually quite happy.
He's quite happy.
There we go, Ron's second carp of the day. This little scrapper, 8.5 pound. Well done, Ron.
Thank you.
Well, carp fans, this is getting sickening. Ron's again only been sat down 10 minutes, and he's got another one on. Fish number 3's on.
Woohoo!
This fish is really tearing some drag out, I tell you. We can stand up in the high wind here. There we go, Ron's third capture, little 29 inch, 13 pound common.
Yes.
Nice work, Ron.
Thank you.
Well, carp fans, back 5:15 here at Adams County. You know, Ron and I are done for the day. It's getting really chilly, you know, ain't much light left, so we thought we'd pack up and head on home. Anyway, you all have a great evening from CarpQuest.